Now that you've got your Bandit harness in the mail, let's go over all the little details of it, everything that's included in the packaging, and everything you need to do to size this to you so it fits you just right. Alright, this is all the hardware that should be included in your package. You've got 2 solid brass junctions that go under your arm if you're using a really heavy camera. You've got the 4 extra Chicago screws for different setups and just in case you lose 1 or 2. You got your camera anchors that you screw into the bottom of your camera to hook to your harness. And then you've got your inserts that kind of have some more information on how to set it up and how to set up time to Skype with us if you have any questions. Has information about the lifetime warranty and other info. Then you've got the big cotton bag that's perfect for traveling with your harness. You can throw it in there without having to worry about it getting scratched. And if you're missing any of this stuff, just let me know and we'll ship it to you, but you should have all of it. A few things before we actually get to the sizing process I want to go over is, the first thing is we set all the little Chicago screws loose when we shipped them. That way it's easier for you to get them undone and it makes the sizing process a lot easier and faster for you. The next thing is, as you're sizing these, remember you don't have to tighten these down every time you try a size. Just get those Chicago screws in there loosely. That way you don't have to spend as much time getting them undone until you get it exactly right. And then if you do have a Chicago screw that happens to get really bound up, you can grab a set of pliers and grab one in and unscrew it with the screwdriver on the other end, and that should solve that problem. And then once you are done with all your sizing and you've got exactly how you want, go through and make sure you tighten down all the Chicago screws, not just the ones that you adjusted, but all of them, just because we sent them to you loose. And you don't want to get on in a shoot and realize that you lost a Chicago screw because you forgot to tighten it. And one more thing, these harness systems work best if you're wearing a belt, so try to wear a belt wherever you can. Setting up your harness is by far the most important part. Like, this isn't a one-size-fit-all harness, and if it's not sized for you correctly, it's not going to work correctly. So just make sure you spend the time to make sure that you got it exactly right. Okay, the first adjustment we're going to make is the location of the leather junction right here. For a general rule, you want it to sit just about a hand width under your armpit. So right now, as you can see, mine is super low. So I need to adjust that and bring it up to just under my hand. So what I'm going to do is take off the harness, grab your screwdriver and undo the Chicago screws. And next, I like to just kind of loosely pull it up to get an idea of how far I need to move it before I actually start riveting it. So I'll just kind of pull these up, and looks like for me, I need to move it up about 5 or 6 holes. So now that I know that, I can start riveting it together, or Chicago screwing it together. And then another thing to remember is, for each hole that you move your front strap, you want to move your back strap that same amount. And so for me, I'm going to move my front strap up 5 holes to here, put my Chicago screw in there. And remember, you don't need to tighten it down super tight during this sizing process. Okay, and now I'm going to move the back strap up 5 holes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now I've got it moved up 5 holes and put my hand under my armpit, and we're just about right. I might move it up an extra hole. It's a little bit low still, but that's about right. And this is the exact same process for all the different versions of the harnesses and for the loan versions. Like right now, I've just got half of a Bandit harness, but it's the exact same for all the different harnesses. Now, next we're gonna set the tether, which is this long strap that your camera hangs on. And I like to use a camera when I'm setting this because it helps me kind of figure out exactly where my camera is going to be. So take your camera anchor, your little D-ring, screw it into your camera. Okay. And then attach it to your harness by just pulling this little tab on the snap shackle. Put it on just like every other camera harness. If you want, attach your safety strap. Now that you got your camera hooked up, you want your camera to be about at your hand length when your arm is at your side. So right now, mine's like a little out of reach, so if I was to try to grab my camera, it'd be kind of a struggle. So I need to bring my tether up just so that it's right at my hand when my arm's down. And the way you adjust that is off of this buckle here. And all you have to do to adjust this is loosen that top strap, because there's 2 straps that go through that buckle, and you just slide it up to the next hole, or the next 2 holes, or whatever adjustment you need. So I slid it up 1 hole. It's about there, but still a little bit long. It's still kind of a strain to grab it. So I'll slide it up 1 more hole, loosen that top strap, move it up a hole. Okay, so now it's about there. So that's about right for me. So my arm straight down to my side, I can grab my camera, pull it up, and take a photo. And having your tether longer has a few advantages. One of them is when you use your hip anchor and attach it to your belt, you have a little bit of slack here, so it pulls all the weight off of your shoulders and back and puts it on your hip. You want to make sure that you're not bringing your tether up too high. So if I like set this up as high as it'll go, it's going to be pretty short for me. So for me, like, that's a lot higher than where it should be. My arm's pretty bent. When I pull this up, it's pulling this junction piece up with it. And that's okay. It lifts the harness up a little bit, and you can still use it this way. It's just not quite as comfortable, and it doesn't work quite as well. Now that you know how to set up your harness, don't forget to tighten down all your Chicago screws, even the ones that you didn't adjust, and don't forget to tighten them before every photo shoot until that leather gets nice and broken in. Another thing is if you still have some questions about how to adjust it, you can schedule a time to Skype or FaceTime with us, and we'll walk you through everything, answer any of the questions you have, or you can email us at service@roseammo.com, and we'll kind of figure out a time to either FaceTime or Skype or answer your questions over email. And if you have any more questions or answer your emails,
you said questions.